Hello guys, today I'm going to analyze the hands played by Rampage on his last video, this one that you see here. So let's start.
Button in my hand for the potential of potentially winning.
Okay, so here Addy raised to 200. Rampage called with 10-5 offsuit. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why he is playing this hand, this garbage hand. Okay, like Ethan called his king 9, queen 9 suited Henry. I don't know if he will call, but 10-5. Well, what do you hope to get? Running straight? If you get running straight, everybody will fold, unless they have a better straight. Running straight but lower, like ace, 2, 3, 4, maybe, but they will be on alert and will not call your raises so well. Two pair, they may have a better two pair. You will not know. So you cannot raise so well. They may have a set. So you cannot like play freely and raise all in like you want. And it's risky to play all in with a hand like this one, even if you get two pair. So why play it from the start? Don't play it.
3 in a row, I get a bunch of money. So the button calls, small blind calls, everyone calls, and we're going to go 5 ways to a flop with 10-5 off, and it comes queen jack 8 to spades. Action checks to me, blocking 10-9, pretty much incentivized to try to bluff and win this hand. I bet $500 and I get 2 players to make the call, the button and small blind. Now 3 ways to the turn, which comes in.
Okay, you bluffed here. It's okay. You did a continuation bet. You are not the pre-flop raiser, but anyway, you prepared for a bluff. It's okay. You block the 10-9. Okay, you block the 10. No problem. Here you are saying I am having a flush draw, straight draw, or pair or two pair.
The
Let's see.
king of clubs. So even solidifying that having a
Okay. The king of club is a very nice hand to continue bluffing on. So here we want to see a race, a continuation bet that you did on the flop.
10 is really good in this situation, but up against 2 other opponents, I decided to check to the button player who fires out $1,800.
Why did you try to bluff on the flop if you are going to give up on the turn? Just continue. If they raised you, then you can just fold. But continue your bluff. The king is the golden card to bluff on.
The small blind folds, and now in this spot, definitely thinking of what I want to do. Folding is not an option. I'm incentivized to win, and maybe I can apply some pressure on draws or just one pair holdings. I check raise to 6,000 here, and
Okay, so you check the turn and then you raised. Now your story is so weak. Now you are telling that you were trying to trap, which they know that you don't play like this. They know Rampage. The problem is everybody knows your play and you don't know anybody's play. Like you are playing against Ethan. Do you know if he is in it? Do you know if he is a tight aggressive, if he is a loose aggressive? What do you know about him? He knows about you. And he knows in this situation you are bluffing 100%. That's why he.
Efan takes his time before making the call, but I did pick up on something. He looked pretty weak, pretty uncomfortable. So
Okay, so yes, I thought he called. Yes, he called. So that's why he called. It's obvious he will call. They know you. Now, please give up. You lost $7,000. Okay, give up. It's okay. If you try to bluff on the river, it's a weak bluff. It will not work.
Potentially, he just has a one pair hand. And when the river comes the four of hearts, a complete brick here, I'm going to stick to my read. It's going to be pretty
Oh, no, 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 no. Don't bluff. The four of hearts is a bad card for you, not for him. It's a safe card for him. Please don't think you want to bluff.
hard for one pair to hold on to an all
Ooh, I think Ethan will call. I don't know if he is calling station. He must. You must have a read on him. If you have a read on him that he is in it, then you can bluff him. Else, it's obvious he has any pair. It's obvious he is weak. He doesn't have like a straight. He doesn't have a set. But if he is a calling station, he will call. And if he is in it, he will not call. And if even if he is a loose or tight aggressive, he will call.
in bet. Along with that, he could also just have a bunch of draws, straight and flush draws that missed as well. So I can bluff those off quite easily on a brick like this. I've been representing a straight this whole time, and we're going to go for that as I go all in for about 14,500
You are not representing a straight. You didn't raise on the turn. You are representing anything but a straight.
effective.
You are representing a bluff. That's it.
And Ethan isn't having a lot of fun in this spot. Getting put to the test with the one pair as I suspected. Now I just put the ball in his court. Does he want to make a really good
Maybe he
play
will
and
fold.
hero call off his stack early on in the stream? Or, oh, okay, there's no other option because he does call. Makes a fantastic call with top pair and a 9. And here we go. Right off the bat, doubling up my opponent, looking like we're off to the same
So one mistake you did made you lose $30,000, $22,000.
start as before, losing more money. Next, there's an unleon raise to 200. I look down at deuces and go set mining. I make the call, button calls, and big blind calls. So 4 ways to a flop, which is a glorious queen 7 deuce. Here we go. Finally having some value in this spot. Action checks to me again. Just like last time, I'm going to bet 500 since,
Okay, I'm not going to analyze his winning hands because this is obviously a winning hand. Let's see if Dan gets there and made a full house, queen or 7. Okay, no, he didn't. So Rampage wins all in. It's a pretty straightforward hand. You have to stack one of the players, and you're lucky that Dan had 2 pair. So let's continue to this hand
climbing my
now.
way back to even, and the next spot gets crazy. As the hijack raises to 300, the cutoff 3 bets to 2,000, which is pretty massive. And looking at it, queens from the big blind, what another dream spot to be. My
nice.
image is obviously completely destroyed, and maybe they just won't believe my 4-bet when I make it to $6,000. The hijack ends up getting out of the way and folding, and when the cutoff jams for 25,000, I'm snap calling against the opponent that I just stacked. Here we go. I want to run it once in this entire session, but Dan convinces me to flip. We run it 2 times, and we've got the classic flip here. Queens versus ace king in the first run out is amazing, flopping a queen, and my opponent burns a king on the flop.
Okay,
and what's
good.
even better is that the river burns another king, so even less outs for my opponent in this second board, and everything looks pretty good as the board comes low. Gotta stay this way for me to scoop up this $50,000 pot, and we secure the double check mark. Wow, things are finally starting to turn around here. This was a much needed all in and a win here since I punted it off in the first hand. Here we go. My net worth on the table. I'm finally winning some hands, and unlucky, we say GG to Dan, who gets felted within the first 30 minutes. Let's keep the rush going as I play the very next shuffle. Button raises the 300.
Here we go again. Queen 10 of suit. Can you please put it in the garbage?
I make the call with Queen 10 offsuit, and the straddler calls as well. Three ways the flop comes Queen, Jack, Deuce with two spades here. The button.
So, he is running bad, like, why does the queen has to come on the flop? So Addy made a set, he has a pair. So here the important thing is, don't raise. Your hand is not so strong, don't raise. Just call the raise.
Decides to c-bet 600, and with top pair, a suspect kicker at best, I check raise to 2,000.
Oh. Why are you raising a weak hand? Like your opponent can have. Queen Jack, King Queen, Ace Queen, Queens, Jacks, Twos. You only win against Ace Jack, Jack 10. That's it. Why are you three betting? What do you imagine your opponent has after he bets? You imagine him having 7-6 suited? If he has 7-6 suited, he will not play it. He will not bluff.
Now, when the undergun player folds and the button decides to just go all in for about $13,000.
No. Now you have to call. That's why you don't play aggressively with a weak hand. You don't induce them to go all in. You just induce them to call, to raise you, and you want to appear weak so that they don't raise so much and you can call their bluff. And if you play this way and appear weak and they still apply so much aggression, you just fold. That's it. That's the secret.
And I'm kind of torn here in this spot. There's a lot of draws that could happen. I've seen Adi be able to overplay some worse pairs here in this spot sometimes. So pretty torn. It's early in the session and I'm feeling pretty good, obviously, having just won two big pots in a row. So can I keep the hot streak going? I decided to come along with a call, hoping to see I'm up against the flush draw, but when Addy announces a set, oh man, I'm pretty much dead here. We're going to run it one time, and back-to-back hands here, pocket deuces ends up winning. Addy scoops up like a $26,000 pot against me, and I'm pretty much back to even after an insane roller coaster start. Things have gone from a wild start to completely bananas in this hand. For context, I've won the previous two hands in a row, and we're playing the button game like I said. If I win the third hand in a row here in this specific time, everyone at the table is going to owe me $1,000. So everyone's aware of this, and everyone's going to play a little bit passive as the hijack calls. Everyone limps into me, and I'm on the straddle peeling ace king offsuit. Oh my goodness, this is a dream scenario for me. Like I said, no one's going to believe me if I'm all in with.
Okay, now you have a very nice hand. Ace King. Ace King is nice. But do you know that Pocket Sevens is better than Ace King? Do you know that Pocket Twos is better than Ace King? It's a flip. So, do you know that Pocket Tens, Pocket Jacks, Pocket Queens, Pocket Kings, Pocket Aces, Pocket Aces and you are drawing dead. Pocket Kings and you are drawing dead. Not dead. So, okay, the way he says premium hand, this gives the way he is thinking. So, now this is a very nice pot This is a very nice situation to 3 bet. I would 3 bet 3,000. $100, so everybody limped. And there are 5 limpers, so maybe someone is trapping. So I would just go 3,000. If any of the short stacks goes all in, I will call. But if Henry, for example, 3 bets, then I know for sure he is trapping with aces or kings. So I may just call his 3 bet, his 4 bet, sorry, and tread carefully from there. So here a 3 bet at 3,000, 4,000, even 5,000 is not totally out of the way.
The button game on. Secondly, I just have an ante in the pot to potentially win an extra $6,000. So I'm just going to be all in. I decided to
Okay, all in is bad because what if Henry is trapping with aces and kings? Okay, you block the ace and the king, but don't know in poker. You are playing hundreds of hands. So a hand like this will come where you have ace king and the other player will have aces or kings. So all in is bad. I'm sorry.
just rip it because I'm incentivized to win the pot and jam a lot. And what better spot to do it looking down at an actual premium? Henry, though, oh my goodness, is the other deep stack here in the hijack with about $50,000 in front of him. And he goes into the tank and ends up luckily folding. My goodness, if he called, that would have been a $100,000 pot. But here we go, a bunch of other short stacks left to act, and we've got the cutoff calling for $8,600 in his stack, and Dr. P comes along and calls as well.
Okay, it played well. You have a you have very good equity, 53%. Nice.
Oh my goodness. Somehow this is a three-way all in, and I have the best of it right now, dominating both of my opponent's players. David's ace 10 dominated, Dr. P's king queen dominated. And we've got $37,000 in the pot, along with the $6,000 bounty if we can just win this three-way all in. With both players dominated, the flop, not amazing.
Okay, we know how Rampage is running bad these days, and it's still going like this, so too bad. Let's continue. So this hand, Jerry raised to 300, he has kings. Dr. P called. I don't know if Dr. P here is just a net or he's just trapping, so we will know later. Rampage with Queen 8 suited. Okay, he just called. Okay, no problem. Even called also.
We're going to go multi-way to a flop of 8-4-4.
Now, the problem with just calling is you don't know actually when someone has a very nice hand, a very strong hand, or if they are just limping. Like Jerry raised to 300. We want to know if Jerry has aces, kings, sevens, or maybe 5, 6 suited. We want to 3 bet him. That's why it's not advised to limp so much. But Queen 8 is not a 3 bet hand. That's why it's not advised to play it, for example, here. Here, you play it if you want to limp. Only on a flush you will be aggressive. Or other hands, you don't be aggressive. So, the flop comes 4-8-4. Now, if I'm Jerry or Dr. P, I would be afraid of pocket eights. So this is the only hand that can beat Jerry or Dr. P. So Rampage blocks the 8, which is a good thing. On this board, he can bluff if he thinks that Jerry or Dr. P are nits. He can try to bluff only one time. only on the flop.
Two hearts. Action checks to the cutoff who bets $300. And when the button raises to 1,000, well,
Okay, so Jerry race to 300, Dr. P 3 bets to 1000. I think it's a fold. If you want to 4 bet, it may work because your 4 bet will appear so strong, but if you are against a calling station, it will be a very bad
look, you could say
bluff.
maybe I'm a little tilted, but I also think an eight just might be the best hand. You know, these opponents could be raising or betting with a flush draw. They could be betting with just some pairs like sixes and sevens. Who knows? But I'm three betting to 2,400. Action folds back to the
Okay, I would prefer to 3 bet, like for example 4000. Go big here. If any call, I would just shut down.
cutoff who started all of this shenanigans. And here, the cutoff is in the tank with what I would deem to be a very strong hand. And he ends up folding pocket kings, and the button folds pocket jacks. And suddenly, the worst hand out of the field ends up winning, which is actually insane.
I don't know if he did it on purpose, but the only reason is because he blocks the 8 and he is representing a very strong hand. And I think Dr. P and Jerry are it's that's what I say. If I were Dr. P or Jerry, I would just call. Like just 2000. Just call and see what happens.
So that might be pretty good information for the rest of the session, but I went with an 8. How insane is that, getting both overpairs to fold? And we're going to ride this momentum because in the next spot, the low jack limps in for 100. I peel 8-5 of hearts on the button, decide to raise this one to isolate my opponent to 500 bucks. But then E-Fan in the small blind decides to attack my raise and 3 bets to 2,300. Ethan and I have played many pots together, and what's a cool benefit about this situation is that he has a bunch of chips in front of him as well. So makes my call a little bit easier. We got a lot to play behind.
Okay, you tried to steal the pot by 3 betting and it didn't work. Even now 3 bets you. Uh, you have 8-5 suited. You may call and peel and see the flop, but in my opinion, this is a fault.
And we're going to go to a flop with almost 5,000 in the middle, and it comes Jack 10-7 all hearts. Here we go, flopping the flush, trying to play for stacks, and Ethan throws a
So here, I see that Ethan is raising. So here, what I would do, I have a flush on the turn, but it's a low flush. So what I would do is, I would see if Ethan raises, I will three bet Ethan. I want to see what he has. So I will three bet Ethan big and see what he does. If he goes all in, I will put him either on ace and flush draw or on a bigger flush, a higher flush. So from there, I would even decide if I want to gamble based on our stack sizes. If we are running deep, I will decide if I want to gamble or not.
small bet of 1,600. Look, we are definitely going to play for stacks, or at least try to. He's got about 47,000 in front of him, and I'm going to go for value right here, right now. I raise it up to 5,500 with my flush, and Ethan does not snap fold, which is music to my ears, and he does something even more incredible, 3-betting to 13,800. I'm sitting with the 8 high flush. This is literally what I've been praying for the past few months. Find a spot to play a big pot and actually have a good hand this time. With an 8 high flush, I'm going to come along with a call. I don't think re-raising is a pretty good option here. You know, we're going to scare away any of his bluffs.
Okay, he thinks re-raising is not a good option because he will scare him away, but actually it's the opposite. But to tell you the truth, it's not good to re-raise here because you would peel the turn and if the turn didn't come a heart, then you can go all in. So this way you can ensure that your equity is high because you have two hearts and there are two hearts on the flop. So also even having two hearts is a little bit low percentage. He may have, based on Ethan's play, he is representing a flush. But now we see that he has a flush draw. So I don't know. After even three bets, I think for me it's a just all in. I don't care. Like if he has a higher flush, then be it. Because here we are not playing online where people are just waiting for their nuts. Here we are playing live, and live you don't wait for the nuts. So I think this is an all in.
and we're just going to immediately stack ourselves if he has better, and he never is going to call with worse. So off to a turn now, which comes the 9 of diamonds. Pretty clean. And I'm thinking if Ethan goes all in, I'm going to feel way more confident with a call, and that's
Okay, Ethan goes all in. Rampage, I think he will go all in. Let's see. Okay, they both go all in. They run it twice, so for sure on the first board, Rampage will lose. Let's see the other board. Okay, good. The other board he didn't lose, so they chopped it. Okay, now let's see this hand.
big blind. Adi raises it up to 400, and I decide to just peel. Let's call another 300 with 10-6 offsuit, and we see a pretty good flop.
Why are you playing 10-6 offsuit? Why? Just fold it, please.
In queen 10-6, two hearts. Adi decides to throw out a pretty large bet of 1,300.
Okay, 10-6, you flop two pair. And
Actually, when I say pretty large,
Addy
about a pot-sized bet.
Addy raised to 1,300 and you have to call. Now Addy is representing ace queen, king queen, queen jack, queen 10 also is not so out of line here. So I think you have to tread carefully here.
And with bottom two pair, just going to stick around for a call for now and see the turn.
Okay, good.
And
A
it's the
call here
jack
is
of
good.
diamonds. Already hated.
That's what we were saying. Playing these marginal hands, you run into two pair against two better two pair. You run against two pair against a set. You run against a straight, a flush, etc., etc. So
this spot. Going to be losing to
too
Jack
bad.
10, Queen Jack a lot of the time, and he does not slow down by firing out another pot-sized bet of $3,000. I don't think I can fold just yet. You know, there's some draws that have missed, and although I definitely don't love the situation, still going to try to tread cautiously with a call. In the river comes a 3 of spades. And this time, things get way more tricky as Addy fires the third bullet of $8,000 into the middle, another pot-sized bet. And I'm just really, really uncomfortable at this point. I mean, Addy doesn't seem like the one that will triple barrel off for
Okay, you can call here and
pot as a
lose another.
bluff. So
But please don't call.
are there any hands that I can even beat here that he might be betting for value this way?
Based on his thinking, I don't think he's going all in.
It'd be pretty ambitious to think he might have ace queen or king queen. And maybe he can just have some heart draws that missed and wants to really get me off the hand. Like, I can't super disrespect Addy by folding two pair here. So, you know, my suspicions think that my hand might be beat, but two pairs just seems super.
So I think this play, other than the call on the pre-flop, other than playing this bad hand, I think that post-flop, all his play is okay, good, not bad.
Super strong, and I pay it off. And I see the bad news, Addy, with Queen Jack for a better two pair. I lose a very quiet 100, and I get Dr. P to cold call out of the straddle.
So like always, why are you three betting with 5-6 suited? Okay, 5-6 suited, a loose aggressive player. I play it. I don't like to three bet with it. And there is a video I made about why you don't want to three bet with 5-6 suited.
And the low jack player called as well. So three ways we're going to a flop of ace, six, deuce, two hearts.
Okay, so
Overall,
a6 2 6, a6 2. Now here, since you three bet, this is a good flop for you. You have to continue barreling and see what happens.
kind of mixed about this flop. I think I could have the best hand sometimes, and definitely a good flop for me to bet on ace high. I don't think Dr. P will have too many strong aces that's going to be calling.
So let's remember that Dr. P folded jacks before. So here, if Dr. P called, he is strong.
But we're going to find out as I throw a small teaser bet of 1,500 into the middle. And we do get Dr. P to come along for a call. So not loving this spot.
Okay, since he called, I would put him on flush draw. Since he just called, I would put him on a flush draw. Now we can see that he has a set, so he is trapping. So his call is strong. At least he has a flush draw.
But when the turn
Or maybe a weak ace like ace 10, ace 6, sorry, ace 7, ace 8.
five of hearts comes in, that is music to my ears.
Why music to your ears? Why music to your ears? The flush completes on the turn. Why music to your ears? He makes me very angry. Why it's music to your ears? When the flush completes and the straight completes and everything completes, you have two pairs, so what? Dr. P folded jacks before and he called your raise on a flush draw board and on a ace high board.
I don't really think Dr. P is going to have a flush very often, and more so he's going to have hands like ace jack, ace 10, ace queen, even ace king, and all of these
Okay, so you put him only on ace or ace hand. It's okay. You can put him on ace X hand. You can. But these are not the only hands that he has. And if he has ace king, ace queen, it's a three bet pre-flop because there is a flush draw. You don't want the flush to complete. So Dr. P's best play if he has ace king or ace queen is a three bet.
hands might just have a heart in them, so could definitely get more value. So when Dr. P checks, I put about $3,500. And Dr. P has a decision to make, it seems like, as he hems and haws and ends up jamming. I don't think I can ever
So here, like before, you don't want to show aggression. You just want to show weakness, so that and Dr. P anyway is not racing. He is afraid of the flush, and you don't have a flush. So just uh, but since he has a set, he is not so much afraid of the flush because he thinks he can get there on the reverse. So that's why he goes all in. So you don't want Dr. P to be aggressive. Just show weakness and call like you did with Addy. That's the best play.
fold two pair here, right? I mean, I'm still ahead of a lot of hands, and I don't think I'm really behind anything besides a flush, which I don't think Dr. P has. And he does not have a flush. Of course, he has deuces. Dr. P is not the same player as I thought he was. Yeah, Ducks are going to win. Flopping a set, it just seems like I'm running into it over and over again, running it once in this $30,000 pot, and the river does not pair the board for me. And I'm going to lose. And Dr. P is going to scoop. I'm going to need a D-tilt with some galbi beef. I mean, I don't really know. Break from eating to see a flop here in this pot. And it comes king, king, 3, 2 diamonds. I checked it over to EFAN. He fires out $800. Definitely.
So there is a three bet pre-flop from Ethan. So you raised and Ethan three bets you. And you have a good hand, ace queen, okay. And now the flop comes king, three king. And
Never folding with a hand as strong as mine right now.
Ethan raised $800. Okay, you can just call you can just call his bluffs, but you have to tread carefully. There is a flush draw. There is a possibility that he has the king. So the hands that you beat, ace jack, ace 10, queen jack, queen 10. Which queen jack and queen 10, I would not give them so much importance because even three bets you. Remember that. So I would put him on ace king, ace queen. Also is not so out of line here. So he may have ace queen also. Ace jack, it's okay. King queen, kings, queens, jack stands, maybe aces. Because anyway, he is three bets you. So he has a strong hand and tens, jacks, nines, eights, etc. etc. Maybe threes also. Now he bets you can just call.
Also have a diamond to play
Okay, he
some
called.
turns and rivers with, so I'm going to come along for a call. Turn comes the 8 of diamonds, and now I improve to a flush draw, and I check once again to
What flush draw? He may have the ace of diamond. You may be drawing that with a full house.
E-Fan, who decides to bet another small amount to 1600. Definitely feeling a little bit suspicious about what this small bet could mean. I can't imagine E-Fan actually has that strong of a hand now, as I would imagine anything better like trips or even a flush would size up. So pretty confident that I might have the best hand.
So this bet, maybe if Ethan is so professional, I don't know anything about him. I saw him play in another video, but he doesn't go out of line so much. So he plays normal. He's not in it, and he's not a calling station. He is good. He plays good. So maybe this bet is to induce a bluff from Rampage, I think. So Rampage should know these things. People know how you play. You don't know how they play. At least, if you want to play with your net worth, as you are saying in the title, at least do your research about each player. Put some money, hire people to do a research for you and give you information about every player. You don't know anything about even how he plays. Now is the time to know how he plays. Is he in it? Is he a aggressive? Is he loose aggressive calling station, etc., etc.
And or an opportunity to win this one. We're off to a river, which comes the 4 of hearts. So a complete brick, flush draw bricks out, and I felt pretty good on the turn. We're going to go to the river as I check it over once again to Efan, and now he
Okay, now it's time to fold. The flush gets there. The percentage of him having a set gets there. So here, if he bets big, I will put him on fours, pocket fours, pocket eights, pocket fours, ace king, king queen, king jack. But from the flop, I will put him on king queen mostly,
fires out like a pot-sized bet to
since I block the ace.
7,000. Now I'm just confused, really. Like, what?
Why are confused? You get there. Okay, fold. So what? You lost 3,000,
What
4,000.
is going on here? I mean, how can Efan really have this strong of a hand? I'm definitely ahead of that. Could be bluff. Make the call. Go with my intuition, and it lost
Yes,
50,000.
he always goes with intuition, and he always calls. And now he added 50,000. Let's see this hand. Okay, Rampage with aces.
Trash cards all day. I
Now, Ethan raised 300. Henry 3 bets 1000. Brambella called 1000. Now, of course, you have to 5 bet or 4 bet, sorry. There are limpers, there are caller. You don't want them to deny your equity.
4 bet to 5,500, praying I'm going to
Okay, okay, good, 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 good.
get some action. I'm playing deep stacked against these opponents, and one by one, they crush my hopes and dreams of ever having a chance to break even. They fold, I win the minimum, and just like that, we're entering the last hand of the night where I think all hope is lost, but some interesting dynamics once again. Dr. P actually this time has 2 buttons in front of him, so there's a bunch of players who limp in for $200. And I'm going to raise a little bit bigger here to 2,000 with Jack 10 of clubs. I'm in position. I have a very playable hand. Let's try to beat Dr. P in this pot as he's going to make the call and very incentivized to win this third hand in a row. And we see a flop which comes ace queen 6 with 1 club. Overall, pretty good board for me to bet on, obviously, as the
Okay, so here we have read on Ethan and Dr. P. Dr. P folded the jacks, so he can be bluffed easily. Now Ethan, we know that he played aggressively on a flush draw. Now here he may have a straight draw or he may have an ace. So here I think a continuation bet is so good.
3-better essentially as I'm playing like in this spot. So I bet 2,000, hoping to win it right here and right now. And, well, Dr. P comes along for a call. So not loving it when I see resistance, but the king would be a good turn. It's a 7. That doesn't help me at all. It brings in another flush.
If it was me, I would continue barreling on him. I have a read on him, he can fold. Good hands. But here, there is no story between my barreling other than I have an ace. And he has an ace. So, maybe I can do another barrel and here maybe bluff him with 7,000. And if he calls, then I can give up. Then I know that he has ace queen because he is maybe in it.
Flush draw as well. Dr. P checks, and I'm going to try to apply one more barrel of pressure
Okay,
to a
not bad,
queen.
not bad.
I bet $5,000, about half the pot.
5,000 is
And
small.
Dr.
That's why. 5,000 is small. You have to put 7, 8,000.
P here comes along for a call yet again.
Yes, he called just because it's small. 5,000 is small. You have to apply more pressure than 5.
So, will I ever really get a river bluff through? We're going to find out in the 6th. So, the board is paired, so any ace has a very easy decision to call. Dr. P checks, and I've had probably one of the worst runs that I could imagine.
Maybe here he could bluff on the 6, representing a full house like sevens, queens, aces. But the 5,000 on the turn is the problem. So he could not continue bluffing and he has to give up. So that's it. I think well he is saying that he sent his bank balance to casino and gambled all of it. This is maybe for YouTube. I don't think this is his entire net worth. I think his maybe one of his balances because YouTube generates so much money and he was playing so much time and streaming for a long time and he also won some tournaments and okay, this year he is having a downswing, but I don't think that this downswing is all of his money. So, but if he continues like this, he's going to bad places. So I hope him all the best, but I would advise him just hire a professional coach. Even a professional poker player will teach you. Poker is easy, just some rules here and there. And so that's it. We hope him all the best. He is running a really bad downswing, but let's hope he comes back. He's not playing his best. He can sometimes he's playing good plots, sometimes very bad plots. He can just get rid of the marginal hands that he is playing, and other than that, he can do well. He has it in him, but he just needs some learning a little bit, and he can be better. Thank you.